Hi, welcome to the Parents Math Tutor. I'm a Texas-based teacher with over 21 years of experience. The most common question I get every year from parents is that they don't understand how to do their child's math homework. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you and your child get better at math. It's like free math tutoring. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the lesson. Hi parents, welcome back to another episode of the Parents Math Tutor. If you already watched my addition and subtraction without regrouping video, there's a little bit of information that I'm going to go over again at the beginning of this video. So you might want to go down into the description and click on the chapters so you can skip right to how to teach your children regrouping. So we're tackling two-digit addition and subtraction in this video, and we are talking about regrouping. When we were young, we called that carrying or borrowing, and now we're gonna call it regrouping because that has a meaning. You're taking groups of numbers and you're putting them into new groups. So let's talk about the how and the why. Math nowadays looks different than when you and I were younger. When you and I were younger, we just memorized formulas of how to stack numbers, how to carry numbers, how to borrow numbers, and we watched our teacher do it enough times that we knew how to do it. Now, eventually number sense developed when we were much older, but the goal of education nowadays is that children have number sense by the time they're 5, 6, or 7 years old. And so we don't require them to memorize nearly as many things as we did when we were younger. I encourage memorizing addition and subtraction facts, just like one-digit addition, math facts, basically. I encourage that memorization because that's going to make the bigger computations a little bit easier. And then when kids are a little older, 3rd and 4th grade, I encourage memorizing the multiplication facts as well. But really, other than those things in math, we don't memorize a whole lot of things because we want every kid to know that numbers are flexible, that they can be broken apart and put back together and rearranged in any way that's easiest for their brain. And their brain is not going to think like my brain because every person has a different learning style. Some people learn best by touching objects and moving physical things around. Some people learn best with drawings and pictorial models and representations that symbolize other things. Some people learn best by watching. Some learn best by listening. Some learn best by writing. And even though eventually the majority of people would know how to stack after enough practice, it really doesn't have that deep, true knowledge that we're trying to get to with developing number sense in the very early stages of elementary school. Some common misconceptions I'm going to talk about later in this video when I am actually modeling stacking the numbers. That's what you and I learned how to do when we were younger, was we stacked. So I'm going to, when I'm modeling that, talk about misconceptions kids can have. A lot of times kids come into my room and they're like, my mom and dad taught me how to stack numbers, or my brother or sister taught me how to stack numbers. And then they show me and they have no idea what they're doing. They're just mimicking what they saw, and they are loaded with misconceptions that I have to unteach so that they understand the true place values and regrouping that is required with the stacking. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about vocabulary. These are just some words that during teaching of addition and subtraction I use. I want to point out that at the bottom I wrote borrowing and carrying. Those are words I used when I was a kid. They don't retain number sense meaning. They are only specific to that formula that we learned. So instead of these two words, when I'm talking about these equations, I will be saying regrouping, making a new group of 10 or making a new group of 100. I will be talking about regrouping the numbers in the picture. I won't use those two words at the bottom. Okay, let's see how to teach two-digit addition and subtraction with regrouping. Okay, so Parents, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can solve 27 plus 66 that are rooted in place value. And the first way I'm going to show you is with expanded form. If you watched my place value video, you know that expanded form is decomposing numbers into their tens and ones if it's a two-digit number. So the expanded form of 27 would be 20 plus 7. The expanded form of 66 would be 60 plus 6. And I'm going to line it up just like this, and I always start in the ones place. Now we're starting to get into bigger math facts, so some kids might not know 7 plus 6 right away. I tend to relate it to a double because they should have their doubles facts memorized. So 7 plus 6 is really close to 6 plus 6, which is 12, and it's just one more. So 7 plus 6 is 13. 20 plus 60 is 80. Now, this is where I'm going to regroup. I have a group of 10 in my ones place, and it needs to go to the tens place. So, some students can do this in their head, but others can't. If your child cannot do 80 plus 10 in their head, I would draw a pictorial model of 80, which is 8 rods, and then I would draw one more, which is another 10, and they can count these together. If they count those together, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So now we have 90 plus, and the only number that's left is 3. That brings it back to the expanded form that we mastered when we first learned place value. And so your child will know that the answer to this addition problem is 90 plus 3, which equals 93. The other way that I'm going to model solving this problem is to decompose each number into the pictorial model of the tens and ones. So I'm going to be drawing rods and units for 27. And I'm going to be drawing rods and units for 66. So in this picture, I've already drawn 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I'm going to draw 10. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, there it comes, 63, 64, 65, 66. So I'm ready to solve this problem. The first thing I should notice is that there are a lot of units in this picture, like a lot. And it's my job to figure out total how many tens I have in this picture and how many ones I have in this picture. So I'm going to give myself a place for both digits, a tens place and a ones place. And I'm going to tackle the ones first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've noticed I have more than 10 units in this picture. So I'm going to circle a group of 10, and this is my regrouping. I'm regrouping all of these ones into a group of 10. And now when I count all the tens together, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and all that I have left are those 3 units in the ones place. Okay, now we're ready to tackle subtraction. Subtraction is a different beast. So regrouping with subtraction is very difficult for students to understand, and so I want to point out a lot of the misconceptions to you. Okay, here's expanded form, and I tell you that we always start in the ones place. This is where it's so important. A lot of kids will just start in the tens place because it's easier, and so they'll say, okay, 50 minus 10 is 40, and then they can't do 1 minus 9. And when they can't do 1 minus 9, they'll go, okay, well, I can do 9 minus 1, so I'll just go upside down, and I'll take away the top from the bottom, and they'll end up with the answer 48 to this problem. But that would be 51 minus 3, not minus 19. So this is why it's so important to start in the ones place. I see 1 minus 9, so I cannot take away 9 from 1. I need to get more numbers from somewhere. And if we have a deep number sense foundation, we know that we could take that 50 and we could break it apart into any numbers that we like and move it around. 10 plus 40 is the same as 50, and 10 is a friendly number. I like working with 10. So I'm going to take 10 away from that 50, and I'm going to regroup it into the ones place and add it to the one that was already there. So now I have 40 plus 11, which still equals 51. And now I can do my math. 11 minus 9 is 2, and 40 minus 10 is 30, and 30 plus 2 equals 32. This is really difficult for a lot of students to understand that they need to start in the ones place and they need to go from top to bottom, and that numbers are truly flexible. They can break them apart and move them around however they need to. Okay, now here's how a pictorial model is different when it comes to subtraction. You're not going to draw both numbers because you're not putting both numbers together. You're only going to draw the larger number. You're only going to draw 51. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take 19 away from the picture of 51. So here's my picture of 51, 5 rods and 1 unit. And now I need to take 19 away. Well, that's easy to take a 10 away, so I took that 10 away. But now I have to take 9. I only have 1 unit. So if I know that numbers can be broken apart and moved around, I can break apart a rod and turn it in to 10 units. I can regroup that rod into 10 units to make my subtraction from my pictorial model a lot easier. More often than not, the students in my classroom enjoy pictorial model for subtraction because they can see what they're taking away. So let's cross out 9 now that I have enough units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So what I have left over after I crossed out my 1 10 and my 9 ones is I have, for my tens place and my ones place, I have 3 rods, and that equals 30, or 3 tens, and I have 2 units, which is 2 ones. So I still got the answer, 32. These are ways that we regroup when we're breaking and decomposing numbers into their foundational place value elements. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please leave a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and maybe it'll help other parents help their children with their math homework. We'll see you next time.